Today is Sunday, April 27th, and this is another update on my progress of beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. We'll start off by taking a look at the events this week. There's certainly quite a bit of stuff going on. On Tuesday, we're going to have job openings along with consumer confidence. On Wednesday, we're going to get our GDP, which comes out once every quarter. That same day, we also have the ADP employment, the PC index, and then the pending home sales. Thursday is going to bring us the initial jobless claims along with existing home sales. And then we're going to wrap it up on Friday with the employment report along with the unemployment rate. We'll now take a look at what the SPY chart looked like at market close on Tuesday, which is when I did my last update. I was feeling pretty optimistic because we had just made our first higher low, and the SPY price had also started trading above this resistance level, along with the SPY price crossing above the 5-day moving average, even though both of those still sat below the 15. The markets then saw 3 straight days of gains on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which pushed the SPY price above this resistance level and moved us closer to where we ultimately want to be, which is above this longer term green trend line. The SPY price in relation to the moving averages is also exactly where we want it to be. Right now, the SPY price sits above the 5-day, and both of those sit above the 15. So I talked about it in my previous update, but one of the first things that I look for a bullish market reversal is for the markets to achieve their first higher low, which we were able to do right here. Obviously, since the markets had 3 days of gains, we haven't had an opportunity to have a dip yet, but whenever that does happen, it's going to be critical that we don't pass below this level, because if we do cross below this level, that's essentially going to wipe out the most recent higher low, and we'd lean more toward continuing to be in a downtrend. Obviously, the most bullish thing to happen would be that the SPY price would just keep going and cross right above this longer term green trend line, but even then, a dip would have to happen eventually. So I think that the most realistic bullish scenario would have the SPY price fall down to the support level, and at that point it would finally bounce off of it and have enough strength to get above this longer term green trend line, and that would also give us our second higher low. Another reason that I'm encouraged that we're about to have another bull market is that the VIX has dropped significantly since its peak on April 8th. We still have a little bit to go before we get to the top of what I consider the normal trading range for the VIX. The VIX shows how much implied volatility there is in the options markets. So essentially, the higher the VIX number, the more pessimistic the investors are, and the lower the number indicates that there's more confidence overall in the markets. So stocks obviously perform better when the VIX is lower. So once the VIX actually gets down into this normal trading range, that's going to be my final confirmation that we're actually in another bull market. These are going to be all 14 of my current positions. Right now, Microsoft, Welltower, Meta, Costco, and Nvidia make up my top 5, and those are going to make up 43.32% of my portfolio. I mentioned in my last update that there was a possibility that I could increase one of my smaller positions, such as Mind Medicine. I ultimately decided to hold off and keep everything exactly the same. Right now, I have 92.64% of my portfolio invested, which leaves me with 7.36 sitting in cash. Since Wednesday, my portfolio had a gain of 6.81%, Pershing Square had a gain of 2.87%, and the S&P 500 saw a gain of 4.48%, which brings us year to date. My portfolio is at a loss of 2.26%, Pershing Square has a loss of 3.55%, and the S&P 500 is at a loss of 5.85%. That's going to do it for today. I do make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on Tuesday.